Evening all. Welcome to a lovely Wednesday evening on Phantom Racing TV here in Hungary for round three. Drivers are taking their lovely little time to get themselves ready, get the setups ready, and we will start underway with qualifying. And I'm joined again tonight with Jamie.
Evening, everybody.
Hopefully we can have some clean and lovely racing tonight. We had a few problems over in China, and hopefully we won't have the same problems again and have to restart the race, but we'll have to wait and see. Evening KL Racing. Let's go indeed, let's go. Looks like we've got a few people
Got
now exiting the pits.
two RBs ready to get on with it.
So, I'm hoping Jamie's already got this prepared and he's got the standings up for you. Can we have the top five that are racing tonight, please?
Yes, top five obviously quite close, being only round three into the season. But we have leading the championship currently by 10 points is Kino in the Mercedes. 84 points, only 10 points off is Jose in the Ferrari, followed by Alea in the RB at 79 points. Fourth place is Cavolis in the Williams with 67 points, and rounding out the top five is Keegan in the McLaren with 64.
So still tight after after two rounds, I should say. And we have got the RBs now starting their laps.
It's quite a twisty circuit, Hungary is. It's as a lot of people call it, Monaco without the walls. So it's quite tricky for the drivers to keep it on track and keep their lines tight and keep it quick around this circuit. But we're on board currently with ZS V Cool, going through sector one, a 26.8, not too bad for a first sector. Pushing hard, pushing fast. We're going round turn five. Got to keep it tight and make sure your throttle. You don't go too hard on your throttle. It's quite traction dependent. This track, you don't want to push too hard on that. If not, you will find yourself turning the wrong way around. Through the twisty section of turn 7, 8, 9, and 10, keeping it clean, make sure not to get over track limits. This is obviously just a banker for the drivers for their first lap, so they want to make sure to get that lap in so they have that security for the next lap. Through the turn 13 now, keeping it quite tight, nice and tidy, not taking any risks. It's quite a clean lap from CSV here, and it's going to be a 1:14.8 for him. Not too bad for a first run.
Obviously setting the time and letting others know that's what they've got to beat. And we've got many people on their first runs, and hopefully they will be setting a faster time than that or matching that time.
Certainly, we tend to have some close qualifyings. It was close last weekend. Last Wednesday, I should say. We can hope to have that happen once again tonight.
Who have we got across the line? We've just had Jabberdy set a 14.929. It's 1/10 off of Cool, and Keegan's just gone and set a 14.513. So he's now set the President fast and sitting up on that provisional pole.
Yeah, sitting quite nicely there with a 4/10 gap to P2. Certainly the banker lap he would have wanted to start his evening off with. Championship leader actually, Kino, setting a. Don't know if he did a double out lap or what, but quite a poor first lap from him. 2 seconds off.
Currently sitting at a 30% battery, so I'm pretty sure he's gone for a banker and nice and easy, not invalidated, got a time on the board. So if he gets DNF on his quicker lap, was better fast lap, then he's got a time there ready in case he's not in last place.
These times are coming in thick and fast right now. People trying to get those laps in before we get that mid qualifying lull, ready for the end of qualifying for those final flying laps. Who have we got coming up now? Got Mystery finishing off their lap in the Alpine. What's the lap time going to be? A 1:15.9. Pops up into P6. Two Red Bulls now. White into P8 and his teammate just ahead of him in P7.
So it seemed to have a spread at the minute. We got from 14 seconds down to 16, so a fair spread between them all currently. But obviously some of them on a horrendously fast lap. We are just getting these bankers in, so we're not struggling later on if we do have a DNF off of anyone. But I'm sure there'll be quicker laps to come.
Yes, certainly a statement by Keegan so far, if anything's to say by it. 3 tenths clear, making a clear gap between him and second place. We'll see what Speedy Crane has to say about it now, finishing off his lap, and he is going to get a 14.3. Say that about Keegan, and Speedy shuts me right up.
Yeah, there with another 2 tenths difference nearly. Obviously showing everyone up. Getting a very nice banker lap in, and I'm pretty sure he can improve when the track improves and getting the heat into that track. The tyres are warming up the track. Everyone will be having a lot better times very soon.
Certainly, yes. Got the two Alpines coming to finish off. Actually, no, sorry. Mystery is starting their lap, and Eagles coming in. So we'll hop on board with Mystery, see what lap time they can set, see if they can move themselves up the order from P11. Not too great round turn one. That exit was pretty poor. I would imagine this is old tyres going round again, so wouldn't imagine anything too spectacular from them. Through Sector 1, we'll see what their first split is for the Sector 1. It's a 26.9, a 10th up on their previous lap time. Still doesn't bring them anywhere so far. They're keeping it nice, neat and tidy. Not too bad on the throttle. Keeping it clean, keeping it nice. Don't want to hit the curves too much from the chicane. If not, you can send yourself flying in your car. This is all about getting as much curb use as possible, using all the track you can through this section of the track, making sure every second is taken out of the track, keeping it nice. 3.5 tenths up now. Into the final sector we go. Got to cut the corner a bit more than that. Missed a lot of track there, to be honest. Did Mystery through turn 12, but rest of the sector 3 seems quite nice and tidy. So we'll see what the lap time is now. It looks like it may be an improvement. We'll see how that goes though. It is a 3/10 improvement, but he doesn't move positions, unfortunately.
Keeping that 12th position there, and his teammate is in the pit. I don't think we've probably got any longer round. CCC Pickles has set a time. He's 1:15 in 8th place. I think Will Martin in the McLaren has just started a flying lap. I stand correct. He's not got any battery.
Yes. Just finished.
Just finished. Setting himself
Got
a
the
16.
Aston. Aston now starting a lap.
Yep, the Aston of GFSO Terminus. Flying himself around turn 1. Using that DRS flap open and using a little bit of his battery. Flying himself around turn number 2, keeping it nice and tight. We could have got a little bit tighter there. Flying himself out into the next 8 holes.
He's backed out. He's backed out. Well, obviously not too happy.
Yep, must have lost a lot of time there, or wasn't happy with the way he took turn 2, so he's going to go around and probably try again or hit himself out. So
Meanwhile, we do have an RB on the lap by the looks of it. Currently half a tenth up. Going through sector 1, just staying out of track limits there. Lucky to keep this lap validated. Through turn 4, went very wide. Lucky to keep that lap nicely through the chicane of 6 and 7. Once again, it just well, not once again, but it feels a bit understeery. I don't know if it's setup related or what for CSV, but still a quarter of a second up, so not doing too bad at all. Can't complain about that. Cuts that part of the track quite nicely, gets right on that curb. That's exactly where you want to be. round out the corner of turn 13 and smooth it out through 14. Careful with the throttle. Lovely job. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 14.5. Brings him up to P3.
Nicely done there by Cool. Him and his RB teammates seem to be having a little bit of battle of their own in the similar times between the two. Speedy Crane still holding up in the P1 position with a 1:14.35, and Jabba has just pushed himself up into P2 with a 14.3, with that 100th off of Speedy Crane in the first position. He's now in an out lap, so we'll see what we're going to have from him coming round turn 14, ready to start his lap. So, running down into turn 1, Speedy Crane, traffic up ahead, flying round, barely missing that apex there, pushing up into turn 2, hopefully the car up front will get out of his way. He does. Flying around turn 3, pushing to 3, turn 3 there, slamming that curve a little bit, pushing himself round, turning round. Let's see if he takes off a little bit on 4. He doesn't, he's pushed slightly wide in turn 4. Round 5, into 6 and 7, traffic up ahead, move out of the way, attacking those curves, obviously a little too much, and just spin himself around. 8, then 9, set for 2 times, gonna get. He is only 400 of a second up at the moment. He's trying to push himself around and gain that little bit extra time so he can keep away from Jabba and the Williams in P2. As he comes round turn 14, we'll see what his time is gained. DRS open, using the remainder of that battery, and he's up by 2/10, setting that new 14.123 in P1, so making that gap larger to P2.
He's making that track as wide as possible. He's using every centimetre of the track, all the curbs and everything. He's the only driver that I'm seeing doing it, and it's obviously paying off for him. Nearly a quarter of a second up on his rivals behind.
Speedy Crane's obviously got a little bit more experience in this track than others, or this might be his favourite, but he's definitely showing off his skills.
See who else is on the lap.
Got Keegan now finishing
Cool.
sector 2.
Half a second down though is
Yeah, it's not
not
going
a
to be
great
any
lap for
improvement off of
Keegan.
him. Let's see if
We
he's
can-
using old tyres. He isn't. He's on new tyres. He's messed up this lap. He's scrubbed up a set of softs to try and set a new time, but has made a mistake somewhere.
We can look back at his teammate Will Martin, who's currently 6 tenths up. I'll bring him quite nicely into the midfield if he can keep that time gaining up into sector 3.
Very little battery remaining, and traffic up ahead.
Yep, certainly trying to push himself up this order. We'll see what this lap time is going to be. It's quite a tight final corner. Did not leave himself much room there. Half a second up brings him up to P13. I'm sure he would want more out of that lap time than what he just did there.
Yeah, I'm sure Will's hitting himself right now and wishing he set a little bit better of a time to help his teammate up in that 3rd position. They've got a bit of a gap between each other right now, so they're not able to help each other out as much, but I'm sure they'll be able to meet at some point in the race.
Yep, we've got Pervolis now finishing their lap. Now we'll see where they place themselves. Well, going up to P9 for them. 9 tenths off pole. Ooh, that's very bad for that Alpine driver in mystery. Just caught onto and had quite a major moment going through the chicane, and they're backed right off. Want nothing to do with that lap.
Was there a little bit of a spin?
Nearly
track.
going through the chicane, yeah.
Oh. Attacking them curbs wrong, probably. They're nasty things, they are.
Who have we got? We've got Promiscuous down in P15. Would want to boost himself up from here. 1.8 seconds off. That's certainly not where he'd want to be. We'll see where he is up. Only 3 tenths up on his lap so far. I'm sure he'd want more than he is right now, but we'll see how he goes in this last sector. it's just another driver keeping it safe, keeping it tidy, doesn't want to be into the walls. He's got plenty of battery to use as well. He doesn't seem to have drained it as much as the other drivers who are on near enough 0% battery come the end of the lap. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 15.8. He doesn't get anywhere at that time.
Yeah, again, I think there's a lot more time to extract from that, and obviously battery wasn't used to its fullest, so if we used that overtake a little bit more, then possibly we would have got a quicker time. But there was always what ifs, always what ifs.
Yes, certainly. And his teammate is half a second up going into that final sector. It's a bit of a poor last turn. He's gone a bit wide, but he should still move himself up into P6. There we go. Nice lap from him.
Nice done from Van Bant there. As he crashes into a wall. Nicely done.
Very good.
I think we've got Speedy Crane wanting to improve his time once again to make sure we don't have any improvements from other drivers and pushing him out of that top spot. So he is now heading down into turn 1, draining that barrier, slamming on them brakes, touching that curb just a little bit. Moving down to turn 2. Touching the curb on the right, tight and clean round there. Cutting his curb over on turn 3. And he should cut the curb on turn 4 as well. Flying it round to the left. Nice and tight. Using a little bit of that battery as he comes out of the corner there. Then into 6-7. Or just touching them curbs there. Riding on the curb just before turn 8 and 9. Into number 10, sector 2 time is going to be up by 0.08 of a second, and he's coming around the final corners. He should be improving just that little bit here. Banging it round turn 14, draining that barrier and opening that DRS. And he's going to be improving by 1.2 1/10. 1/10 of a bit, so 13.995.
Just as his competitors started to close in on him, he just edged that gap out a bit more, back up to 3/10. He seems like a dominant force in this qualifying session. Keegan and Cool tried their best to get their fastest laps in, and all they could do was 3/10 off.
Yeah, I'm not sure either of them are improving at the moment. Keegan now going to be passing the sector 2 timer. And he's on a cooldown again. He might try go for another lap. I'm not sure what battery he's got remaining to do. Oh, no, he's saving his battery. But I don't think he's got enough fuel to do another lap. Or time. Time is out.
And our championship leader, Kaino, he's just done a lap, and the best he could do is P16. It is not a good start to the evening for him.
Unless he can do a last to first here, it's going to be very disappointing coming from Kaino in his qualifying performance.
Yeah, especially on a track this difficult to overtake. It's going to be tricky for him. He is going again, though. 2 laps in a row. He's got no battery, but he is 3/10 up nearly in the first sector alone. So he could move himself up a couple positions here if he's lucky. Pushing through sector 2 now. He's tried his hardest, but he's just invalidated. Yeah,
Nice.
got a bit wide there.
Lost that back end, slid straight out.
So P16 is the best kind I could do tonight. That's going to be tricky for his championship lead.
So nicely done by Speedy Crane, just breaking into that 13-second barrier, holding off the second spot by almost 4/10. Or no, 3/10. I do apologise. And then we've got Cool with 14.3, very close from the second, third, and fourth positions. And then we've got a couple of tenths off in the fifth, Adalili. 6th is Lepson and Jose in 7th. Van Bant in 8th, Pickle 9th, and 10th is Cavalis. We'll just do the top 10. Just waiting for the remainder of people finishing whatever laps are doing and getting in, and we shall move straight on to the race. But nicely done by Speedy Crane. Hopefully he can maintain that pace in the race.
Yeah, good luck from Speedy Crane. Hopefully, he can keep that same pace if he wants to keep this win. Hasn't done a race so far for this season. This is debut race for this season, so certainly kicking it off strong.
I'm pretty sure I've seen him before. I may be wrong on that one, but I know he's a fast-paced driver. I'm pretty sure I've met him before in other Twitch streams as such. Rightio, as we move on to the race, we'll get ready and everyone get their setups and tyre strategies ready, fueling themselves up and ready for this Hungarian Grand Prix. Do you have any suggestions on the tyre strategy here, Jeremy?
Should normally stick to either a medium or hard medium. Depends where the starting positions are. It would be more likely than not to see Kano go for those medium tyres. He'd want to make up places quite quickly for the start of this race. Make sure he's gone quick and get that undercut hopefully to bring himself up the order. But he will be slower come the end of the race on those hard tyres compared to everyone else on the mediums.
Yeah, looking at the minute, everyone is choosing the medium tyre. I don't think hards would be... Oh, I may be wrong. Someone might be starting on the softs and being a little cheeky in last place, but we'll have to wait and see how that pays off.
Yeah, interesting call there for the strategy. The softs don't last very long around most tracks on this game this year. We'll see how that goes for him, but bold strategy for the
A couple
Aston
of
Martin
people
in
are now
last.
changing their strategies over to a hard. We'll have to see how that all plays out in the race. I'm pretty sure the softs are going to fall off very quickly, and they're going to be wanting to get in the pit as soon as possible. Unless there's a safety car called early, I think it's going to be a bit of a lost cause being on the softs.
Yeah, it's a bit of a risk, but we'll see how that goes for him. But here we go now then. We've got 3, 4, 5 lights ahead of the drivers, and it's lights out and away we go. The two drivers get away quite well. Keegan's already in front of Speedy Crane. Here they come down into turn one now then. We've got ZSV down the inside of Speedy Crane. He's gone down to third place as the pole sitter. We've got plenty of driver swaps happening behind. We've got the Ferrari dropping down to last place. Kino's kept his P16, he's kept it clean, he wants to make sure to make up his positions late in the race. We've got battling going out of the mid-pack, we've got the Red Bulls trying to make up positions for the start of the race. We've got a lot of hard runners, a lot of medium runners. There's a bit of a mixed strategy, and we're starting to settle out in the top 5, top 10. We've got Keegan leading the race, followed by ZSV, followed by Speedy Crane, LA, and Jabba rounds out your top 5.
Nicely done into turn one. We've got a lot of clean racing there. Everyone keeping it nice and tight at the moment. We haven't got really any gaps forming.
They're keeping it nice and single file. Make sure to keep out of each other's way, keep it clean.
As they come round turn 13 and 14, head down to that start-finish straight. Keegan is your lap 1 pole sitter, and he's going to maintain that, I'm pretty sure, because we haven't got our DRS, but DRS is now enabled, setting that 21.8.
Yes, the drivers will want to sit and settle into this race now as the DRS train is bound to appear and start keeping the drivers tied together like they're all tied with pieces of rope to one another. Let's see here, just change that. So for tyres, we've got only 4 hard runners in the pack, so it seems the medium hard strategy is what is going to be preferred tonight. The top 2 are on the mediums, and Speedy Crane's gone for the hards. That could explain his bad start, going down to third place from pole. Alea and Jabba are on the mediums, I should say, sorry, and Horsey in 6th place are on the hards. For the rest of the top 10, we've got the Red Bull splitting strategies, probably to avoid a double stack, considering how close they've started together. The Mercedes of Pickle on the mediums, and in 10th place we've got Eagle Ghost on the mediums also.
And we've got that mysterious strategy in 16th place for Terminus. He's sitting over in 16th place. Hopefully he can capitalise on them softs to begin with, otherwise he's going to soon lose that tire grip and be falling behind the rest. Doesn't look like
It
we're going to have any
certainly
swaps
is.
in the first round of DRS, and Keegan is still going to be holding that first place.
Yeah, these two medium runners want to get away from the hard runner of Speedy Crane. They want to try and make that gap and keep it there, and hopefully keep it for that undercut as well, where they'll inevitably pit earlier than the hard runner of Speedy.
Trains seem to be forming. I don't think there's anyone that's going to be. Oh, 3 second time penalty for XL White. That's the first
That's
penalty of
really,
racing
yeah,
very early as well.
yeah. Lap 3 of the race. That's not a good signs to come for White there.
Especially when they're running so close together. It's going to be a lot of positions lost if this is maintained throughout the entirety of the race. It probably won't be, but 3 seconds is a lot of time to be losing, especially when you're on the hard tyres. You're going to be losing time from medium runners front and back. You've got to hope for them the pit stop strategy being right for you and not losing so many places in the end.
Currently, we've got for Battle of 13, we've got the Williams and McLaren of Will Martin and Convolis going for it around the final corner, and Will Martin nearly goes into the side of Convolis. They've kept it clean other than that. Will Martin trying to squeeze through on the hard runner, obviously on the quicker tires right now, but Carno's going to shoot through with that extra battery that he's got. Is he going to send a move on the inside of the Williams? He keeps his nose there, but he's not quite going to get it.
As we do have a position change up front, ZS Cool has taken the lead of this race. He's managed to get past Keegan with that DRS, and he's now leading the front train.
Yeah, it'll be a matter of swapping places, trying to protect their first and second place. That is the best positions you want to be throughout this race, because for that last lap, you want to make sure you're there. Further back, we've got the train broken in half a little bit here from XL White. He seems to be struggling a little bit with that penalty. He's fallen back a bit. Hopefully he can catch back up again. Those hards should come into their own later on into the race, but right now he's on a bit of a struggle currently on lap 4 of this race.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like he's got any damage either. He's just nursing away at the tyres and keeping ahead of the train that he's created here. As there isn't a huge gap between him and in front, it's only 1.6 seconds, and he is going to be overtaken by Eagle Ghost there.
Yeah, Eagle on those
And
mediums,
switch
but
back there.
yeah, White tried to get to that switch up, but he just couldn't get his foot down on those hard tyres. The medium was just got so much more grip currently on lap 5. You won't see a crossover between these tyres to at least lap 10.
Just proving that the strategies are totally different here, and the hard runners are got a lot of pushing to make sure that they can keep up with these medium runners.
Yes, making Speedy Crane's drive so far ever so much better. Sticking in third place. He may have lost those 2 positions on the start, but he's not. He's kept it where he was. Kept it honest with the top 2 runners on those hard tyres.
He also seems to be keeping up with his battery and making sure that it's fully charged up for them for the long straight, and making sure to keep up with Keegan and Cool there, maintaining the gap of around 3/10.
Just had Pickle and Lepson. Pickle having just a little look on the inside line, but couldn't quite get it. We might see him move into turn 1 here. He's up against his gearbox here. He's draining that battery for the overtake. Is he going to go down the inside? He can't quite do it. Yeah, he can. Lepson's outbraked himself. Pickle's got that exit. They're still side by side going down into turn 2 this is. But Lepson just gets on those brakes later than him and keeps ahead in P7. But the more fighting they do, the more disconnected they're going to get from this train, and that is crucial to stay in that train in this race. If not, you're just going to fall further and further back.
And as we've been on about the tyres, it looks like Speedy Crane has taken advantage of a possible mistake there from Keegan, and pushed himself up into P2, pushing in behind Cool here. Hopefully Keegan has still got the tyre advantage and can push through in gaining his place back.
Yeah, we must have missed that there. Surely a mistake or something had crept in, and Speedy just said thank you very much, and gone straight through into P2.
And this we've got a little bit of struggling here from Keegan because Adelaide is right on his behind, looking like he is going to make a position gain here. Down into turn one, side by side with the McLaren, and pushing on the inside line, and just ahead after the turn, pushing in front of Keegan and gaining the position.
And up into the podium positions. There's a double podium for RB currently. They are doing very nicely for the constructors this race. What we've got going on in the back of the grid here, we've got Cavolis once again trying to keep his positions, but there's another medium runner just all over the back of him. These hards are not working for the Williams or the Red Bull ahead of him so far. Van Ban is trying to get a move, but he just can't find his way through, unfortunately.
A little bit of a mistake there from Van Bant, sliding over to the wide of the corner. Trying to keep within this DRS train and maintaining his tyres. And obviously we've got the mixture of tyres within this little train here. We've got a medium up front and two hards in between. So mixture of strategies within this little train itself.
Yes, and we can see further back in the grid that that soft tire gamble from Van Bant's teammate
Terminus.
not paid off. Yeah, has not paid off for him. Unfortunately, his tires have gone off, and it's worth a try. Sitting at the back of the grid for the start of the race, but just not worked out so far in this race.
As we've also got another change for the lead at the moment, we've got Speedy Crane who's took the lead and pushed in front of ZS Cool.
Yep, constant swapping positions. We've got further back in the grid. Kino just trying to make up those places, trying to limit that damage on the championship that he's caused by the poor qualifying performance. He just couldn't quite get past Van Ban, but he'll want to push past. He'll try and get past. He'll be pushing all the way through this race to get up those places and gain more points. Obviously, points all the way down to 20th place. We don't have 20 drivers tonight, but the point system would bring us all the way down to points to 20th. So every position matters for Kino this race tonight.
Especially when Speedy Crane hasn't got any points to his name. It's every point is going to make a huge difference tonight, and it may be for the end of the season. Oh, a
Speedy Crane spinned.
Speedy Crane is down into 8th place after a horrendous mistake, losing his.
What has happened to Speedy? That is an interesting mistake on the outside line. He might have been having a battle with ZSV and an incident happened, but now it's a RB1-2. Looking ever better for RB. Yeah, Speedy Crane's got a lot of work to do to catch up to that train. Disconnected.
And he's fully pushed away from the train up front, and he's got a huge gap between him and first now. The RBs are totally taking advantage of this huge mistake done here by Speedy Crane.
So they'll be rubbing their hands together, all both the RBs, thinking they're going to get a lovely points haul from tonight. Sitting first and second place, formation flying at the top. Keegan's back onto the podium position with that place, and flag is a Mercedes spun. It's Kino, our championship leader, just having a worse race. Just nothing is going his way tonight. Down into 15th again, and miles off the back.
Commentator's curse has striked again.
Meanwhile, his nearest competitor in the championship in P2, Jose, has moved himself up into P3 after going straight past Keegan on the main straight. But Keegan's got the switchback on him. Can he keep the place? No, he can't. Jose's got himself up into 3rd place.
Nicely done there by Jose. I'm not sure what his position gain is. Let's have a look. He's up 4 places currently. Same with Alili. He's up 4 places as well. So both of them are gaining plenty of positions here. Jose is trying to push himself up and gain those viable points up front.
Yeah, he'll be gaining. Want to gain as much points on Kino as possible. He's been very good as Kino in the last 2 rounds of the season, but take any chance that Jose can.
As we can see, the Ferrari Jose is now pushing up to the two front runners, keeping that tight in that train. He may be able to drop Keegan a little bit and try and make sure he can get out of that DRS range, but it doesn't look like he's going to be managing it as Keegan's keeping up that pace. So there's going to be a DRS train of the 4 top people coming into the front straight.
Here's the question: what does Aleale's teammate do? Obviously, as Aleale is P3 in the championship, he doesn't want to. As his teammate swaps positions with him, they'll keep doing that. Swapping DRS and make sure
Oh,
they
as we've
keep
got a crash
positions.
for
Oh,
Jose.
the
Jose is
nearest
out.
competitor in
Oh,
championship out.
this is great news for Kaino. And we don't have a safety car.
What in the world happened to Jose there? On the inside of turn 1, he must have just dropped it under traction. That's all I can think of. Kaino will be breathing a sigh of relief after seeing that pop up on his screen.
I'm very confused why we don't have a safety car
Ooh.
right now. That was an extremely hard crash there from Jose.
And Ale has just picked up himself a 3-second time penalty. That is not good for their hopes on this win tonight.
And then currently we've got 4 people with penalties. That was Ale, and we've got XR8 and Will Martin and Terminus all on 3 seconds currently.
Yeah, Ale obviously the highest person, looking to take the lead at the championship at this rate, but with that 3 second, he might have hurt his chances at doing so. The top 3 do seem to be pulling away slightly. If they can make that gap, this top 3,
A yellow flag in sector 1.
is XL White has had a spin round turn 1.
No damage, I don't think. That's kind of just set the
No.
fastest lap with 17.5.
Yep, he's had his pit stop. He's gone on to hards. He's going to try and undercut and try and get into that midfield pack at least again.
As XO White picks up another 3-second time penalty, and Ministry also picking up a time penalty there.
Time penalty's a real big issue tonight. We'll have to see what RB do though. They can't. They're on the same strategy, of course, starting on the same tyre. So double stacking would be a very dangerous possibility for them. Who do they prioritise? The person who can take the championship lead, or does ZSV think about himself here and just think about the win for this race tonight? He does defend from Alele actually here into turn 1. He tries to keep that place, but Alele's got DRS. Will he send a move down the inside? No, he's going to keep it sensible round turn 2 with his teammate. Doesn't want any inter-team drama.
As someone is also sneaking up the places, we've got Speedy Crane, who's now made it up to 4th place, down from 8th after a little wobbly up front from P1. He's slowly made himself well up, and he's 2.5 seconds away from meeting with that front train, but he's got Jabadi's on the back of him currently. He's sitting at just over 8/10, but it looks like he's gaining too much time for him to be catching him.
Yes, at this stage of the race, the hards will be a much faster tyre. It's a much better race tyre, those hard tyres are. So we'll want to see how early these medium runners think about boxing. Obviously, some of them have already done so. They've already backed off and gone into the pits. They've had enough of those mediums and want to get onto the hards to the end.
Yeah, the only people to stop so far are Lepson, Van Bant, Kaino, Terminus, and Cappy.
Speaking of, Leia is now into the pits.
So RB have made their decision and sent in Alele first.
Yes, they will get a lovely undercut from here and hopefully get a couple seconds on the top 2 to try and push themselves out. Depends what traffic they put themselves out into. Oh, they come onto the pit exit now then. Looks like a nice gap for Alele actually. Just behind the Red Bull of Lepson. soon as they get past Lepson, they should be in a lot of clear air to push and hopefully get that undercut going.
I'm very surprised Keegan didn't pit with LALA and try and keep on strategy, but I'm pretty sure Cool would have been then. Oh, we've got a Sector 2 yellow caution.
It's an
That'll be
Alpine that's hit the wall.
Alpine is in the wall. There he is there. How many
Looks like he's
seconds is
dropped it.
safety car?
Not by the looks of it, the yellow flag has gone. Looks like he
No
dropped
safety
it
car
on the
again.
exit of Sector 4. Sector 4. Corner 4. Um, yeah, just another one dropping it off traction. These drivers are really struggling with their right foot tonight.
Yeah, that's the second driver out tonight as Cool then goes straight into the pits with Keegan. And Speedy Crane's going to be flying down that front straight. I'm pretty sure he's on a different strategy entirely. He is
Yeah, he's on those
the
hards. Yeah, these the RB and the McLaren want to cover off LALA's undercut here. We'll see how he does as he goes around the outside of Lepson onto that final corner, trying to push as hard as he can to get a big gap. But we'll see how good this gap is, considering he's got stuck behind. What's it going to be? It's going to be a few seconds, actually. He's not too bad for a stop. As Kino sets another fastest lap of the race, he is flying tonight on those hards.
As he switched rounds with his teammate there. And getting another place as people are switching around after their pit stops. It looks like everyone apart from Speedy Crane, Cavallo, Sodexo might have made their stop, but they are all on the hard tyres and 14 laps keeping on them.
Yeah, some pressure seems to be taken off ZSV Cool as Keegan's dropped 3 seconds through those pit stops. I don't know if he's made a mistake on those cold hards or what's happened, but he's dropped 3 seconds to Cool here. And Cool has lost 2 seconds to his teammate LALA. It's up to the team here whether they make Cool drop back and give LALA this win, or they let them fight for it.
But obviously we've got to make sure that Alele is gaining the right appropriate amount of time, as he's got a 3-second time penalty currently, so he's got to make sure he can gap whoever's behind him at the end of this race. And we've got another caution out. We've got a Mercedes who's gone wide, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's Kino again.
Yeah, Kino's
And
losing that valuable
fast.
time once again.
Showed plenty of signs of pace tonight, but just keeps making those big mistakes. He's dropped behind the Mercedes and the Aston. Once again, losing about 5 seconds in a lap from just mistakes.
He needs to
It's
keep
not
his
been.
cool and get that pace consistent and push himself up into them podium positions if he can tonight.
Yeah, it's certainly a night to forget for Kino so far. We'll see what happens on the second half of this race, as we're only in lap 16, of course.
As Cool is now pushing up to the front runners with Lepson on 5-lap old hards. He's a little bit down on his tyres, but there's also people up in front with 15 laps.
He goes a bit wide.
As he goes a bit wide there on turn 11.
Yeah, he'll want to clear these Red Bulls as quick as possible, but he's struggling to keep it on track actually in this sector. Just want to get past these 2 Red Bulls, but they've both got DRS. So he's going to struggle to get past these without dumping all this battery. He's just losing second after second, staying behind them though. He needs to do something here to get past at least one of them come turn 1, but it doesn't look like he's going to be close enough.
This is both RBs, both the Red Bulls switch places. I'm pretty sure because. Oh, and it's a spin!
Oh, he's dropped it!
Oh, too much. And reset to track. Naughty there. Cool. You're going to be receiving a penalty probably for that one, but you are now sitting in 8.
He's got damage on that front wing. He'll have to box with that.
Major damage on his front wing. That's going to be hindrance on his time as the Aston Martin of Van Bant is passing by. It's same with the Mercedes there. Unfortunate there for Cool. Too much on that right foot.
Yeah, just put on that overtake button really, way too early, and just caught him off guard completely, and he just went straight into the wall. He's lucky to be continuing on this race, to be honest.
Oh, as he goes wide there on the turn 8. Turn 9, sorry.
Yeah, he'll drop ever further back, and we'll have to box for a new front wing this lap. So we see Speedy is still going on those tyres. He's he's going to want to think about boxing soon, as LA is only 10 seconds off of him and he's boxed. So Speedy's got about a 10-second gap around about to catch up to LA when he pits.
Do you think Speedy Crane's going to be trying them softs very late in the game?
Looking how they performed on that Aston, I don't think he'll want to risk it, but anything can happen. Well, you never know. He might take that risk to try and get that first race win.
Seeing what his pace was in qualifying, he set that pole lap. He's now sitting P1, and he's got that decent gap behind him with players with drivers who have got them time penalties, so he's well within his rights to try whatever strategy he would like to do.
Yes, his nearest rival for Alele, who's also pitted. Lepson has pitted, my apologies as well, but he has got very old hards on him. He pit quite early. Keegan has got to get through these two Red Bulls first, and
As
it looks
Speedy
like he's
Crane
going to
goes
go
on the pits.
past. Yes, I did think he'd want to get off those quite quickly. He's playing it very safe on the pit entry. I don't think he knows where it is. He's lost a few seconds doing that. That'll be tough for him, but I think he'd rather not have a 10-second time penalty, so I don't blame him.
What tyres
See
has he
what
got
goes on.
on?
It goes onto the mediums.
Onto the mediums. So he should have that massive advantage late into the race as others are sitting on those hards. He's going to be on these mediums and getting multiple positions on them mediums to begin with, but maybe losing it towards the end of the race.
He's lost a lot of track position by staying out that long. Down to P10 is Speedy. He'll be after a top 5, I'd imagine, for the end of this race. I think he'll be happy with that.
And especially with the current standings, Kylo being up top, he is right in front of Speedy Crane, and Speedy Crane's going to be showing him what pace he can do with the championship rival in front, as we've got a Sector 2 yellow flag.
Looks like Van Ban had a little moment. He's trying to salvage it by staying ahead of this Williams
The
ball.
contact there.
Bit of contact. You can't really put any blame on anyone there. Just hard racing, but he'll be happy not to be facing the wrong way with Van Ban. So he's done all right to keep P8. He goes wide actually into turn 13. He's got Kaino all over his gearbox. Obviously Kaino making mistakes. He was once ahead of this Aston. He'll want to try and get ahead of him again, as someone was actually on the grass down the main straight. I think that was XL White trying to defend his position as much as possible. Will he get switched back on Jabba? No, he won't. His tyres are just too old to get that traction, and Jabba's up into P4.
Nicely done there by Jabba.
We can see up front, Egan is 8 seconds off the lead of Alele. They have that early pit stop has put them way far ahead and put them in a lovely position to win this race, even with that 3-second time penalty.
I think Jabba's now going to be putting into contention here, especially with that time penalty of Lepson. I don't know. Lepson is on 9 laps and Jabba's on 5 lap old hard, so still a little bit of difference there, and hopefully Jabba can capitalise on that and push himself into the podium positions.
Yeah, Jabba will be wanting to get a podium out of tonight. They've been up and down the positions, to be honest. Done alright to recover themselves back up to P4. Let's see how many positions they've gained. They've gained, if I can find the right detail. There it is. Actually got back up to where they started. So after a poor start, they've recovered themselves nicely.
Staying in position is not always a bad thing. It just proves that their qualifying time was where they should be, and they can keep hold of their pace as they get into the race and qualifying as well.
So we see their teammate, Cavolis, getting past Red Bull, followed by Pickle, following him through. Just getting past that, the Red Bull of XL White, still on those hard mediums that he started the race on, 20 laps old now. He'll want to get off those quite soon. He's just losing positions. And it's just, yeah, he'll want to get off those tyres.
Decision there. He may be going for them softs, but I don't think that can save him. That will probably hinder him at the end of the race, but we'll see what he decides to do.
Yeah, next up to get past that Red Bull is Van Ban. White has gone off the track, and Kaino's found a gap. He's gone down the inside.
Oh,
What a
masterclass there.
move!
As he's going to go for the RB as well, pushing on the inside there. He is alongside that RB of Exile White because his tyres are totally gone here. There's a lot of backing up here. Oh, there might have been damage there. I
Oh,
don't
there's an
know.
M plate. Yeah, an
Yeah,
M plate's just gone flying there. We'll see who that is. I think that was Speedy, actually. I might be mistaken on that. We'll find out in a second. No, Speedy's all
decent.
right.
Or is it?
It's Van Ban.
It's Van
Van Ban's
Ban.
got damage.
Yes, Exile White's got to be thinking about going in soon because them tyres are cooked. They are totally destroyed. I don't know why he's staying out currently.
I think he'll be wanting to aim for those softs, but his race is too far gone now to make those softs matter anymore, to be honest, I think, with you. But Speedy Crane now is right behind Kino. He'll be looking for an overtake on those 3-lap-old mediums compared to Kino's 12-lap-old hards. He'll have plenty of pace advantage to get past him, hopefully, on that start finish straight.
As Jabba's now pulled himself with his teammate into that DRS of Lepson there.
Yes, we may see a driver swap between those Williams if Jabba can't get past with Cavolis be on those fresher medium tyres. He'll have a much better pace advantage than his teammate in 4th place. We can see now going into the end of this lap, we see Speedy ever closer to that to the rear end of that Mercedes. He'll be wanting to drain his battery and put on that DRS and get straight past before that turn. Turn 1 comes up, and that seems to be exactly
Absolutely
what he's doing.
straight past.
Already ahead before turn 1 arrives.
The mediums come into each their own, especially when Kylo's on 13-year-old hards. As Exile White is finally pitted for those mediums. I'm not sure what decision was trying to be made there, but he hasn't really gained any track position in doing so. As Jabba's closed that gap up with Lepson when he's got a 3-second time penalty up front, so he's wanting to get past him as quickly as possible and drag his teammate through with him, and hopefully he can make up the time to push for Keegan in P2. I think everyone's now sort of settling in. There's only the 2 Williams up front. They've got the advantage at the minute of possibly making an overtake on the Rebel in 3rd place.
Yeah, Lele is in
Oh,
complete
as the
control.
RB Red Bull of Lepson has spun and pushed himself down the order as Jabba's now taking those podium positions. Will we see a swap from him and Cavalis for totally and utterly different strategies here?
Another one spinning it under traction. The rear tyres just aren't happy this race with all the drivers.
And there's going to be a driver swap there with Cavalis and Jabba. They are on totally different strategies there as Lepson is picking up that speeding in the pit lane and gaining himself another 10 seconds to his time penalties there.
Yeah, tough for Lepson. Just another driver a bit too trigger happy on that throttle.
Seems to be a lot of that tonight, so it's not the only one that has made that mistake tonight, so hopefully he can keep his cool and gain the remaining positions that he possibly can. But let's recall the still remaining at the back pack of the field. After his few mistakes up front, he's managed to keep away from the very bottom of the grid and sitting himself in P12, gaining a lot of time here on Terminus, who's got a time penalty currently, so he'll probably be okay, but he's right on the rear end of that Aston Martin there. He may be able to take him on the start finish straight, and he will have that DRS and plenty of battery to push himself past.
Much fresher tyres is ZS vehicle. Wanting to get past with DRS, using that battery, should hopefully get by before turn 1 even arrives. Through he goes into P11.
Nicely done there by Cool. Trying to make up for his previous mistake, and He will get a double dip with DRS, pushing him round into turn 2. Hopefully he can gain enough time to keep himself away from the Aston Martin and break that DRS.
As we see, Speedy Craners caught themselves up into the other Mercedes, into DRS, only 4 tenths behind. That Mercedes is struggling, trying to keep that car in a straight line. Speedy has a little look into the inside line of turn 12, but it's just too far behind to make that stick. But at this sort of type of gap, you should see an overtake into turn 1 at least with DRS. Battery pretty equal. The rear wings wide open, Speedy Crane. We'll see how he can get his move done. 4 tenths behind. He should get a send down into the inside. Yes, he will.
It should be,
Down
yes,
the
he got
inside, though,
there.
Speedy. Merc tries to switch back, but gets onto the grass. He keeps his foot in, but can't quite keep the traction going down into turn 2.
Here we see a problem for the possible Williams. Speedy is pushing his way through the pack and managed to make up that time from his weird strategy in its own case and going on them hards for so long. But I'm pretty sure he can make up the time with the difference in the tyres with 7-lap-old mediums versus the 11-lap-old hards of Jabba and 8-lap-old mediums of Cavalis. But we do have a yellow flag out. We've got another retirement of Lepson. He's now racing. That's 3 drivers out tonight. Pickle here seems to be keeping up with Speedy Crane here and may try for a little bit of a switcheroo on Speedy down into turn 1. So we'll see what happens here. Speedy Crane also gains that DRS of Jabba up in P4 and Pickle is going to be pushing up and it looks like there's a switch of and Cavalis has absolutely binned it off into turn 1 after he let Jabba push through. Speedy Crane's now going to have that advantage of tyres on Jabba here and it may be there and done, and Speedy's going to be pushing himself up possibly into those podium positions. Can Jabba hold off and keep that gap alive? So just a quick update on penalties. Aleali's on 3 seconds, Will Martin's on 3, Minstry's on 6, Exo White on 6, and Terminus is on 6. The only one that's going to be making a huge difference this race is Aleali with a 3. Keegan has gained a little bit of time here and trying to close that gap up so that time penalty is going to be mattering a lot more. Speedy Crane is going to be within DRS Jabba these and pushing down the start finish straight as Jabba is pushing over to that right, having a little bit of a defensive move there. As the tyres of Speedy Crane are coming to each their own as he's pushing very hard into turn 1, closing that gap up as they come into turn 2 here.
Yeah, we also see that gap between the top 2 have closed down quite a bit. Was 8 seconds a few laps ago, gone down to 5.8. Keegan is pushing. He wants to get that gap down to 3 seconds below that margin, and he will have this race win in the bag for him. Well, yes, the closest battle we've got on this track currently, as you previously mentioned, Speedy Crane and Jabba. Those mediums still working quite nicely on that kick. He will want to get past him come turn 1 and try and push himself up to the McLaren. It might be a bit of an ask, but I'm sure he'll give it a go.
We've also got Cool right on the back of Mystery here. Mystery's got a 6-second time penalty, so hopefully he can work out that he's not going to be holding off Cool very much longer, and there's no point holding him up in any way, shape or form because it's just going to be a little bit of wasted time for Mystery. He could lose a few more places, and there's no need to do so.
We can see if Speedy can go down the inside into turn 1 here. They break both quite late, and Speedy tries that switchback, but Jabba's got it covered. Oh, Speedy nearly loses it actually on the rear end, but he keeps it in a straight line. They keep it nice, they keep it clean. Speedy couldn't get that place, unfortunately, up into the podium spots.
it's going to be very close here. Jabba is on them different strategy, and I think the medium's going to be wearing off pretty soon.
Oh, someone's gone off actually. It's Pickle in the Mercedes. He's gone straight on into turn 5.
Oh, and then we've got Cool, who's retired off of track.
Or has he gone? Oh, he's binned it under traction. Another one that's gone off on
Another one
traction
go
into
off.
turn 1.
That is 4 drivers tonight that we've lost. Lepson being a retirement, and the other 3 are going to be traction loss on track straight into the wall. So
We'll see a low grip track tonight, and the drivers are paying the price for pushing hard. But here comes Speedy Crane again now into the final corner. Only 3 tenths off. This should be a close overtake. Both of them drain their battery on overtake. Can Speedy Crane get past? Jabba's run out of battery, but so has Speedy. Can he get it into turn 1? Yes, he can. He's fully ahead. He doesn't need to outbrake anyone.
nice done there by Speedy. Speedy having a little bit of wobble there, putting his foot right to the floor. Jabba is going to be hoping those mediums wear off pretty soon, and he can gain his advantage of being on hards and push his way back onto that podium place.
Actually, a yellow flag for a Ferrari in 13th with a rear left puncture.
Rear left puncture.
Don't know what's happened to them.
25
To
lap
Kenny,
old
but
hards.
they had 25 gone hard, most of the race on those medium
Mediums.
tyres. So it doesn't surprise me that they got that puncture. They probably want to get into the pit lanes quite quickly before they go straight on into a wall.
Connor's closes gap on his teammate here, and I'm pretty sure they should be swapping because Pickle has got a time penalty currently and needs to push and gain as many points as he possibly can tonight because he started very, very low with the qualifying to see if his teammate communicates and allows him through.
I've actually got rain. It's raining here in Budapest.
Yes, there's a little bit of rain coming down. Did you see drivers change for the last remaining few laps and see if they can capitalise with some intermediate tyres? But we're going to see a little bit of rain, and I don't think it's going to turn to intermediate anytime soon.
Now it's all about who can keep it out of the wall. No, traction will get ever harder. They've already been struggling on traction on completely dry conditions. As it gets more wet, it will just get more and more difficult for these drivers to keep it in a straight line.
As we see, Pickle is taking that position off of Cavalis, and see if Kaino can do the same. But with this rain coming down, I think it's going to be very possible that we could see some mistakes made by people not aware that the rain is going to be affecting their tyres more than they think, but the rain is now flying down.
Yes, it's quite heavy rain. These drivers will struggle come the end of the race. If it gets to intermediate conditions, they will need a box. There will be about 10 to 15 seconds a lap slower.
Oh, as we
As
see Cavalis
Cavalis,
going
yes,
in.
dives into the pit lane. The two drivers at the back of the grid have already given it a go on the inters, and they seem to be struggling. Those tyres overheating. It doesn't seem like the right decision so far, but we'll see how it goes with Cavalis.
Jabba's still keeping that under a second gap behind Speedy Crane here. I think the mediums are finally gone, but I don't know if he's going to be able to capitalise with this rain coming down, if these hards are going to be ripping as much as they possibly can.
Although these mediums might have run out, they will still hold the temperature much better than these hard tyres in these wet conditions. So Speedy will be happy for this rain to come down, and it will help him keep those temperatures better in those tyres, and the hard runners will be struggling. We will keep an eye on the gap between Gavalis and Van Ban, and we'll see what tyre becomes quicker. Even if it comes into conditions come the end of the race, Gavalis will start getting positions rapidly.
As we've got a lot of gaps and now totally different strategies from everyone here, so we don't know what is going to be happening as the remainder of these laps, well, the remaining 2 of these laps is not long to capitalise on the intermediate tyres at all.
Siegevonus actually has gained already a second on Van Ban, and it's been about half a lap. So these Inter runners are definitely getting the better tyre grip currently. We can see some standing water actually beginning to lie on the track. It's definitely becoming ever closer to winter conditions. If it becomes winter conditions this quickly, Cavolas could actually be on for the win here. Those tyres, those slick tyres will become very, very slow as the water decides to lay on the track.
And currently, from 8th downwards, have all got Inter tyres on. Cavalis is the one who's holding track position at 8th place and trying out for his teammate, but I don't think anyone above Cavalis is going to be trying to go in now. They're sticking to their strategy on their old hards, and the only person that's going to be on their different tyre is Speedy Crane on their medium tyres, 14 laps old.
Just keeping an eye on lap times here. We'll see what the leader of LLA puts in this lap. We'll see what Cavalis is doing, and we'll just see that deficit and see how much it's built up currently for the drivers. As LA actually, never mind, comes into the pits. Most likely for those intermediates, this could be a bad call for him. Depends what the other drivers do.
There's
We've
Keegan
got
coming in
Keegan
too.
coming in. Yep, we'll see what Speedy Crane does. He might want to take a risk here, which he does. He wants to try and get that race win with only one lap left to go. It's lap 34. This might be a great call from Speedy here to try and get that race win.
I think it's too late in the race to probably go on the intermediates now, and Japanese and Speedy Ukraine are now in the positions of first and
Gabba's having a
second.
look around the outside. He's trying to get that move, trying to get that race lead, but he's gone onto the grass. He's struggling so much for rear tires. Keeping those tires in shape, keeping those temperatures. Those hards will be freezing cold by now. We see Alele actually is quite close to that lead already, but we mustn't forget about that time penalty that he's got. He may be able to get the lead come the end of the race, but can he get that 3 second time gap?
As he is pushing his way flat out into the top two. DRS is
Because
now
DRS is,
disabled.
yeah, it's now in immediate conditions, so these drivers will be just trying to stay alive. It's too late for them to box. They'll be nowhere if they box, so they'll want to just try and live with it.
As Aleale's past Japanese already, and he's pushing for Speedy Crane. Intermediates have totally come into their own now, and he's going to be pushing for that lead. As a defensive line is picked there by Speedy, he's trying to maintain that first position, but that rip on the
Not going to
intermediate
last,
time
yeah.
is not going to last. He's got that 3 second time penalty that he's got to worry about now.
Something I don't know if we picked on actually. Alele has damage. He's missing his front right end plate.
He
I
is.
don't know if we missed that or that happened recently, but it doesn't seem to matter too much with these conditions. He is going off into the distance. 2 seconds is the gap already, and it's been about 3 quarters since he's gotten past Speedy.
Yeah, so that gap is going to be increased exponentially, and he's going to probably be totally out of his penalty time there. But Jabba and Speedy are still holding on, as Jabba's going to be trying to go for the inside, turn 2 there. He's pulled right back as they're both sliding around on track, as Speedy there has a little bit of a moment and slid straight out as Jabba's taken into P2.
Yes, unfortunately, these two aren't going to stay on the podium for long by the looks of it. We've got two drivers. Never mind, sorry. We've got one driver behind, so there's still a fight for a podium here, but we've got Keegan to push his way through as yet. On the last lap, we'll see if he can get himself up into the podium places. Up into fourth now. These these slick tyres have just got nothing left to him. He can just dance from the inside around the outside. It doesn't matter what the slick runners do. Keegan can just go around him like it's an F2 car against an F1 car. Up into P2 goes Keegan.
Nicely done there on the strategy, moving on to them into tyres and gaining so many positions and putting himself on the podium. Can
We
Jabba...
can. Sorry to cut you off there, but Cavalis might actually get 3 positions here. It depends how well he does here because he's gone from 3 seconds to 1.1. These three are all scrabbling for positions. Cavalis go down the inside line. Yes, he can. Can he out traction him up into P5? Oh, what's happened? He might have got an illegal overtake and have to let him through, but he's got the switchback. And these just can't traction. They can't compete, and he's up into P4. But Alea has won the race.
Nicely done there by
Beautiful.
Ale.
Yes. Kept it clean, just had that gap ever since the first pit stop and won quite nicely.
Yeah, so I have to congratulate LLA there on that first position. Keegan moving on to them into tyres. And Jabba for holding on 21 lap old hards in the pouring down rain has done very well to keep his podium position there. Cavalis, his teammate, has managed to come back into fourth place after moving on to them inters.
Yes, that was definitely the right call considering by the time they came out on those inters, they were about 20 seconds off that podium. So that was definitely the right call to go on to those inters. Further back, we've got that top four obviously, and further back we've got Kano. He's kept it high up, limited that damage to what Alele's gained on by getting that race win, followed by Speedy Crane, Pickle, then Van Ban in eighth, Will Martin in ninth, Mystery in tenth, XL White finishes the race in 11th, Promiscuous in 12th, and Cappy rounds out the finishers in 13th in the Ferrari.
Nice done all drivers tonight, and the mystery big conditions of this rain coming out was totally unexpected and has totally mixed up the order in the final laps of this race.
Yes, definitely an interesting end to this race. Could have been a lot more mixed up than it was, but they've kept it clean for what they could do on those slick tyres, and yeah, lovely race from everyone.
As we see there, Kino's got driver of the day. We will have our own driver of the day vote on the Discord on Phantom Racing League, so obviously we'll have that posted later and you can make your own votes there as we have the podium runners come out on the stand. So yes, your winner today is LLA, and Keegan and Jabba on your podium positions. Nicely done by all the drivers today. That was Tier 1 Wednesday over in Hungary. Thank you very much for watching and tuning in to the Twitch stream today. Thank you to Jamie for joining us once again, and I hope you enjoyed that as well.